So having a baby in lockdown has been wonderful in so many ways, but it's had challenges as well. I think at first, the very beginnings of people wearing PPE and going to those appointments, and it was all very, very strange and felt very clinical. And then the unknown with what would happen at our birth, whether Andy would be able to be there or not. Turns out he was. Then, that was all a strange time for us. There was that lovely time as a family as well, where we got to nest with our newborn and become, a family of 4. And we had to get on with it, but at the same time, that brought its challenges because we didn't have any support. We weren't able to call upon our family or friends, and that was really tough. And I think it's the feeling that we'll never get that time back. We'll never get those early weeks with our newborn baby back and kind of sharing that joy with anyone. And a big thing that as well that we've experienced is the baby groups, and Wilf actually being able to interact with other people and with other babies. So it feels like he's missed out on an awful lot, and in turn kind of we have as a new family. If I compare things to when I used to go to baby groups with Theo, and how that really meant a lot, I think, for not only seeing your children interact, but as a mum as well, kind of having that support network and knowing that you're not alone in kind of the sleepless nights and the tiredness and the worries that you have.
Yeah. I mean, there's been really joyous moments, as I'm sure there have been for anyone out there who's had a child in lockdown. But also, I think there's probably times where we've not been okay. Yeah. And when you're both not sleeping at night and you've got 2 children to run around after, and you haven't got the help and support you normally would have, it can get very tough. And you enter into situations where you're not always able to prop each other up. We've been doing this for a year now, and probably there's always some new element of anxiety that comes along. Right now, for us, that's the roadmap out of lockdown. And whilst it brings hope that we can get back to some form of normality at some point, it also brings worry for us because, as Han said, Wilf hasn't socialised with other babies. He hasn't really met any other adults yet. In a few weeks, we've got to hand him over at the door at his nursery to a complete stranger. We're not allowed in. That's really worrying. Theo, he's 4. He's going to be going to school in September. What will that bring? He hasn't been in situations where he's been able to meet new children of his age, and yet he's about to go into a class of 30 full of children he doesn't know, potentially in September.
And we've applied to a school that we've not even been able to look around.
So all this brings worry, and that's without even thinking about ourselves really. I've been working at home for a year. And Wilf doesn't know any different. We don't know any different as and there's one of our children in the background. We don't know any different as a family of 4, which is incredibly tough, because normally I'd be out the door at 6:30 in the morning and home at 8 at night. I'm around in the morning to help with the children. I'm around in the evening, and all that's about to change, which I think is going to be really testing, just like Theo is really testing right now.